Texas. My name is Fitz. If we have not met yet, it's nice to meet you. I don't regularly wear a cowboy hat, but my wife likes it, so I may wear it more. Just saying. Anyway, so they asked us ahead of time if we had anything in the NAA store that we were going to be referencing during our talk. And I replied, yes. Need some fresh cans of whoop-ass in the NAA store because we're about to open one. Okay. So you go to the store and you say, Fitz said there were fresh cans of whoop-ass. See if they give you a discount. All right. I think the topic, the breakout session was how I recruit and build. All I know is the 4 basics of recruiting. AB, and I'm like, I saw you walk in, I was like, oh, you're going to be bored. I'm a process guy. Anybody else a process guy? Like a system? Like you give me a system, I'll just do it over and over and over and over and over. I remember learning very early on in this business, if you're not bored in this business, you are not doing it right. This is not exciting business. It's life insurance. People only file 1 claim. If they file 2, it's fraud. It's the same way with recruiting and building. It's boring if you're doing it right. If you're doing it right, it's boring, but you'll meet some interesting people. You will have some hilarious stories. All kinds of hilarity is going to come from it, but the actual work is very boring. So I'm going to teach you my process that I recruit and build and have for 25 years and Integrity paid me millions for, okay? That's what I'm going to tell you. So 4 basics of recruiting. That's me. An observation. You might want to write this one down. As recruiting goes, so goes production. As recruiting goes, so goes production. I don't want to recruit, Fitz. How about production? Do you want that? You know, production is what you get paid on. Show of hands, who wants production? If your hand's down, you're not a capitalist. Going to change that attitude just a little bit. It's a business. You're trying to make money. The way we make money is selling insurance premiums. Recruiting doesn't make you any money unless there's insurance premiums being sold. So if you don't give a rip about building a team, about building a business, about going partner with integrity, any of that stuff, if you don't care about any of that, you're in business and you should care about production going up so you can make more money. Period. Well, Fitz, I just want to personally produce. As recruiting goes, so goes production. It's the craziest phenomenon I've seen over nearly 30 years of doing this business. That I can take a great personal producer, teach them how to be a mediocre builder, and suddenly their production goes up. It's the craziest thing. I can't explain it. I'm just an observer. My friend Andy Andrews would say, I'm a noticer. I notice things. That's something I notice. So just to really drive home the point, recruiting goes up. What does production do? Yes, you're good. All right. Recruiting goes down. What does production do? Let's try it again. If production goes up, what does recruiting do? Ha! Got him. As recruiting goes, so goes production. Production goes up. That has no indicator of what recruiting is going to do. Look, what I'm talking about is if you take the line graphs of recruiting and you take production graphs and you superimpose them over each other. Now if you're doing 100,000 in volume, you didn't recruit 100,000 people. So just take away the X and Y labels there of the line graph and just superimpose on what you'll see is when recruiting goes up, right behind it, production goes up. And if you see recruiting go down, right behind it, production goes down. This is not, I didn't look at my production for a week and figure this out. This is a couple of decades now of observing this. So production goes up. The problem is you may get a little bit head faked because production goes up. When production goes up, what also goes up? Commissions, your income. You're feeling pretty good because the deposits are better, right? But what if recruiting is actually going down during that time? What I've observed 25 years at this is there will be a market correction. Production will come back down. The stock market can't actually go up infinitely without something supporting that growth. It will correct. It will come back down. Same thing with your production. If recruiting is not supporting it, the production will line up with what recruiting is doing. Take it to the bank. If you learn nothing else from the next 33 minutes I wander around on this stage, I'm telling you, this is something you can take to the bank. As recruiting goes, so goes production. Now check this out. What if recruiting is flat? What does production do? Yeah, that's not trick. Stays flat. So here's the problem a lot of the big organizations have. Big organizations. I'm looking around the room. I'm like, I can't believe you guys chose me. Riddle. I mean, there's Integrity Partners in this room. The Avian, like, who else am I missing? There's big volume in this room. And we all experience a plateau. We all experience a place where we plateau. Why is that? Because recruiting plateaued. There it is. So it doesn't matter if your recruiting is 5 a month and your production is 100,000 a month. If the recruiting isn't going up, the 100,000 will always stay there. Well, gosh, Fitz, if I was running $100,000 a month in volume and I was making 20-point spread, that's $250,000 income. That's pretty good money. Yes, it is, but it ain't $1 million. It's not 2. I tell you, the conversations I get to have with Integrity, they have oversight over my production, and I have to talk about it. They love when our production's going up. They love when revenue is going up. They don't like to see, oh gosh, you are so wonderful. You're always making us $1 million a month. We love you. No, they're very much what have you done for me lately? That was great last month. This month you stayed the same. That's not good. We don't like 0% growth. We like 10% growth. We like 20% growth. Not 0, certainly not negative. So as recruiting goes, so goes production. Okay, so the 4 basics of recruiting. This is the back of your shampoo bottle. Lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. I'm going to list them all out. If you are an anal note taker, let me just, like you hate it when somebody gives you 4 points and then they have sub-points of all 4. And you're like, I didn't leave enough room on my paper. That's going to annoy me. I'm going to dive deep on each one of these. Okay, I'm giving you a heads up. But also take pictures. No, I'm not going to individually email everybody this PowerPoint. List of names, check interest, interview, follow up properly. Lather, rinse, repeat. Over and over and over. If you've been in my organization and heard me talk about recruiting, you've heard me talk about this. Because I'm really boring when it comes to the basics. I just know what made me a lot of money. I just keep doing that part. The stuff that cost me a lot of money, I try to quit doing that part. So, list of names. There's cold market and there's warm market. Okay? Cold market is people you don't know yet. Warm market is people you already know. So from a cold market perspective, you're probably going to advertise. I currently really cannot endorse enough President's Club when it comes to recruiting and advertising. You're not going to get that good of a deal going directly to ZipRecruiter or Monster. You're getting a good, pay your $100 to President's Club and then cash in with the ZipRecruiter ads because you are making your money back. Okay? I'm a huge fan of that. People ask me all the time, where are you trying to recruit? I'm always trying to recruit somewhere. Like, am I only doing ZipRecruiter? No, but most people in here aren't doing that yet. So start there. Good place to start. Warm market. So you can do this for yourself, and when you're bringing people on board, you can walk them through this same process. I do it all the time. People routinely are giving me names and numbers and saying, will you please call my sister? And I make sure to let them know, when you give me this, make sure you don't put ex-mother-in-laws in there. I've called too many of those. They are never happy to hear from their ex-daughter-in-law or from the person that their ex-daughter-in-law gave the number to. So an easy way is this. It's kind of old school with the Alliance now. Been working forever. These are 2 different apps on iPhone or Android. I think iPhone actually now also has the Android, the export contacts to Excel. So a new agent coming on board, a lot of times I toss it out, and I'll tell you how we do it, but I'll toss it out there and say, hey, would you like me to help you start building a team while you're building your income? While you're getting your sales up and off the ground, I can run alongside of you and help you build your override income. And hopefully we're meeting somewhere in the middle on those income goals you got. And most people say no. And I don't care because I'm also still recruiting with. But I'm like, okay. But the ones that say yes, I go to work. And it doesn't offend me, the people who say no. You know why they say no to you if you're asking for referrals from them? Or when I'm asking, you know why they say no? They don't trust me yet. That's it. They don't trust me yet. It's okay. I haven't earned it. Why would they just give me blindly a spreadsheet with 2,000 of their friends and family on it? That's stupid. That's really dumb. Unless they trust me. If they trust me, it makes a lot of sense. Because I'm going to work while they're going to work. We're working together. We're trying to make money. So once you get those, you're going to rank them. It's weird. Every time I submit a PowerPoint to the Alliance, the font changes. I just don't like this font. It's just me. I'm a little OCD that way. Okay, you're going to rank them. I say rank them. If somebody gives me a list of 45 names, I bust through that list. I'm not wasting time ranking poop. I'm not ranking poop. I gotta remember, talk as if my 12-year-old daughter is in here. She laughs at the word poop still. So rank them. But if they give me a list of 2,000, which I've gotten Excel spreadsheets of 2,000 names and numbers, I'm going to work through all of these. Just know that. Can you help me with your top 10? I want to start helping you see results quickly as opposed to me taking the next month of my life working your list. So I'm going to rank them. You're looking for 6 pointers. You're discriminating, Fitz. You're damn right. I want to talk to the 6 pointers first, and then the 5 pointers, and the 4 pointers, and the 3 pointers. But what you'll see is these are bell curve people. These are the ones we have the best chance of winning with. If we're going to run a race, do you want to pick the guy that's 800 years old to win the race, or the guy that's 27 years old to win the race? No offense, I know some tough, salty old dudes. My father-in-law is one of those guys. I'm probably still going to choose a 27-year-old because somebody's going to blow a hip. I'm just saying. And if you don't fit one of these categories, that's okay. You're not a bell curve. It's okay. But you're looking for these people, okay? So ages 25 and up, really looking for 25 to 45. When Andy found me, I was 17. I'm now 48. I've worked fully through the bell curve. I'm out. It's crazy. I used to be the young gun of NAA. Now, that old guy? They call me OG now. You're looking for married? What's 25 to 45? Well, they're old enough to realize what taxes are. They're young enough to still have the energy and stamina to build a business. Okay? Married. I'm single. You saying it has to be married people? No, I'm just saying you don't get a point. And really, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your people. They don't get a point. What's married have to do with anything? Well, they're at least good at sales. This I know. They also have responsibility to somebody else. They tend to work a little bit harder, take things a little more seriously. Number 3, children. They're good at closing. If you know nothing about me, meet my wife, and I have 3 kids. Yes, sir. Okay. You'll know I'm good. All right. Children, same thing as being married. There's more. Look, I didn't realize how expensive kids were until I started having them. I just got the tuition bill for the 2 kids I still have in private school. The oldest one, I got a break when my oldest graduated and went to Texas A&M. Oh, he's cheaper than the other 2. And he didn't get a scholarship to A&M. They don't do it. Employed with $30,000 or more in income. They're not completely desperate for money. I can't tell you how many times somebody comes on board, they don't have a job, and I say, you need to go get a job. You can do this part-time. You need a job. This is commission only. I'm not going to be the reason you're financially ruined. I'm not trying to help you make money, and it's easier when you've already got a little bit. Number 5, they own a home. More responsibility, more debt, more reason to do. Number 6, healthy. I'm now 48. When I turned 40, the year I turned 40, I threw my back out putting my underwear on. My wife found me like this with my underwear around my ankles in my closet. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, ow, ow. She's seen me try everything, but she never seen me try that. The next year, I blew my calf out playing basketball with my son. Because Dad still had hops until he blew his calf out, and now Dad can't dunk anymore. So, healthy which just goes without saying. Healthy, when you're working, anybody over the age of 35 knows what it feels like to be 25, and now you're 35. At 45, it hits you different. I understand 55 hits you even harder. I was only healthy when Andy met me of these 6. I didn't have any of the other 5. Be clear, this is not eliminating who we're talking to. It's prioritizing who we're talking to. I'm grateful Andy didn't go, he's 17. I mean, he's healthy, but he's broke. I'm glad he didn't say all that. He gave me a shot. So this is just about prioritizing. And then you go to work. All right, so now number 2. That was a list of names. Number 2 is check interest. I like texting to check interest, especially if somebody gives me a list of 2,000 names. Now, if that person wants to sit with me while I'm calling their people, I'm happy to do that. I'll edify the heck out of them while I'm doing it. I'll teach them how to do it. But a lot of times what's happening is they're out there making their sales while I'm building their team. And so it's best if we just do it separately, and I'm just texting when I get a chance during the day. I do have time blocked off every day in my schedule for texting, and it's really because I'm that busy working lists of names. Okay? And if I don't block off that time, there's going to be an interview booked during that time. Now I got to hire another with person and make a huge spread. So awful. But I'm not trying to build a real shallow root system, you see. I'm trying to build a big old deep oak tree that's really sturdy. I'll take a mesquite tree, for goodness sakes. You can't knock those things over for nothing. Okay, check interest, cold market. These are lists, text we are currently sending to ZipRecruiter responses. Somebody responds to ZipRecruiter, we are sending them this text. Hi, test. Now, this was a test text. This is Jason Bruno. He's my right hand, my left. He's my office manager. He's been with me 20 years. Love that guy. This is Jason Bruno, the hiring manager of the Fitz group. Thank you for showing interest in our ZipRecruiter job listing for the life insurance sales position. I'd love to set up a time to discuss the opportunity. Please schedule a time for me to give you a call. They click on this link. We use Acuity. You can use Calendly. You can use Time Trade. You can use Schedulicity. I don't care. I do know that Integrity Compliance does not like Simply Book, which is why the BAM, they changed all their links because Integrity doesn't like Simply Book for whatever reason. And then I put at the bottom reply stop to opt out of future messages. Why do I do that? To be compliant, because Integrity oversees my compliance as well. First text. Then we'll send them a second text if they don't respond to that one. This is Jason Bruno. Following up, in case you're still interested and haven't had a chance to book a call, if you're still interested, book a time with me that works for you. I look forward to speaking with you. Our calendar link and reply stop to opt out of future messages. 2 or 3 days later, they still haven't booked an appointment. We send another message. This is Jason Bruno from the Fitz group. I hate to bother you again, but I'm looking over your information again. I'm very interested in working with you. Reach out or schedule a time if at all interested. And there's the link. That's beautiful. I feel like I just opened like a jewelry box. And if they still haven't responded, One last time. Those 4 texts go out over 2 weeks. You're not going to keep working at Fitz? No, I'm running more ads. I'm just going to keep running ads. So we appreciate your time. If you come across someone who may be interested, change this, let us know, blah, blah, blah. You see it. Here's the link to overview our company. You'll see this again in a little bit. One of the videos I love the best, it's not this one. This is actually me explaining our company, because why not? But y'all seen it. It's on the NA website. It's like the blue cartoon thing. It's a 3-minute video. I freaking love that video. My boy Jay, the voiceover. Like that video is awesome. If you want to send that out to people, that is a great overview of our business. It doesn't answer all the questions. I used to have a 45-minute video I'd send out to people, and I could track that they only watched 9 minutes of it. So I cut it down to 8 minutes. 7 minutes and 42 seconds officially. And they watch it. Okay. So checking interest on the warm market. Yes, you understand. I text again. We like texting test. Test, my name is Fitz. I don't believe we've met, but Jason Bruno gave me your name and number, said you might be able to help me. Can you return this text when you get a chance? Thanks in advance. They respond and say, how can I help? I then say, I own a life insurance agency in Dallas, Texas. We've done a ton of marketing all over the country. You could say, I work with a life insurance agency out of Burlington, North Carolina. I work with a life insurance company out of Dallas, Texas. You could say those things, all true. Integrity's based here in Dallas. This is Allen, by the way, which is not Dallas. Anybody in Dallas will tell you Allen is not Dallas. I live in Dallas. It's Dallas. Okay. I'm looking for full-time, part-time, anytime help. Pays about $500 per sale starting out, and we will teach you how to do what we do. Does that sound like something you can help us with, or at the very least have a longer conversation about? I might be interested in that. That's what they say back. I just got a list last week of 46 names. None of them were licensed, and we've already gotten 7 set up in class off of that list. Some people said, not interested. Some people said, will you reach out to my sister? I'm not interested, but she might be. Some people said, go to hell. Sometimes they send you pictures. It's never what you want to see. Sometimes they figure out how to do it with the keyboard. I don't know how you make those pictures on a keyboard, but they figured it out. It's really impressive. I think that's a penis. Like, it's that kind of thing. Equals, 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 and then the D. Ooh, no. It starts with an 8. And the first time I was like, 8 does not equal D. They're stupid. They're so stupid. And then you go, why are they sending that to me? What is wrong with people? You hope for the keyboard version of that, by the way. You hope. You get all kinds of crazy stuff. That's the part of this business that's fun, but the process is boring. So then I say, I'd love to schedule a 30-minute conversation to make it simple. Use this link to access my calendar and pick a time that works for you. You'd be shocked how many times people say, how about Tuesday at 2? Well, now you're going to make me look at my own calendar? I said, click on the link. Dang. You know what? You're dumb. It's not going to work out. I don't say that. I recruit them all, man. Once they book the interview, I say, I will call you at the number they provided at this certain time. I make sure to clarify it's Central Time. If they can't figure out that they're in California and that's 2 hours earlier than what I'm saying, they're dumb. I don't need them. It's okay. I'm okay weeding people out. I'm not trying to weed everybody out, obviously. So now we get into the interview. Part 3. Okay, so some know my story, some don't. I was born and raised in Burlington, North Carolina. I went off to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, met my wife. We got married the first year out of college. We lived in Gibsonville, North Carolina, which is actually a suburb of Burlington. Where, you say? Exactly. Burlington's like a suburb of Greensboro. Greensboro is a suburb of Winston-Salem, maybe? Winston-Salem's kind of north of Charlotte. Everybody? Okay, so... And then I got my insurance license. About a month later, Heather and I picked up and moved to Dallas, Texas. We were 23 years old, had been married for a year, and we decided to move out here to build an agency. We were going to stay out here for 6 months, see how it worked out. We'll build the agency, and then we're going to go back to North Carolina, and that was 25 years ago. Well, we're officially Texans now. It takes you 20 years if you're not from here. So When I first moved here, I had no idea what I was doing. As you can imagine, I was 23. My frontal lobe had just finished forming. So, still pretty dumb. And I listened to it, and I mean, listen, I moved out here. Andy didn't come to see me for 6 months. He was busy building his business. He's like, Fitz is out there, he'll figure it out. And when he finally came out here in 6 months, he's like, it's time to come home, man. This ain't working. I said, no, thank you. Or something else, way worse rated. And I stayed. But out here, I had to figure out how to sell. I listened to a lot of Zig Ziglar tapes, a lot of Brian Tracy tapes. I had the clam cases that you could buy. I don't know if anybody remembers those old clam cases with the tapes. Occasionally, I'd be like, that's exactly what I'm doing, you idiot. And I'd pull the tape out, and I'd throw it out my window. Piss me off. I'll show you. And then I'd slam on brakes and go pick up the tape because I was poor. Freaking needed that tape. I was mad, but I'm not stupid, you know. I figured out something I call Sales 101. As I go through this, what you'll see is the ATM is set up very much like this. Because this is how sales are made. Doesn't matter what you're selling. I learned this from Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar. Okay? So the first step is relationship. You're trying to build a connection. You're looking for things you have in common. The world we live in today is constantly trying to identify the things that we're different about. That's depressing. Look, this is stupid. Let's find the things we have in common. I don't have anything in common with that person. Well, then don't mess with them. Leave them alone. Y'all don't have to be friends. But can we find some common ground, something we might have in common? Like, what a horrible way to live if we're only looking at our differences. It's just dumb. But, so you're looking for a relationship. You're just trying to build a connection. This is going to go on throughout the whole conversation. This is not a stopping point. It's like the ATM. When you do the About Me page, it's not really about you, is it? It's about them. You're looking for things you have in common. Oftentimes, things I find in common, people have first names that are pronounced differently than they look. My first name looks like Alex, like Mr. Abian. My first name is Scotch-Irish. Mr. Abian is not Scotch-Irish. You understand? We tried to change your name to Oabian at one point. It didn't work out. Scotch-Irish, Alex is pronounced Ellick, like E-L-L-I-C-K. Nobody ever gets that right, so I go by Fitz, and then people call me Fritz. They literally walk by my front door that says The Fitz Group, and they go, hey, Fritz. I'm like, you're out. You're stupid. Build a connection. You're looking to build a connection, something you have in common. Somebody's got a jacked up name. I try to get their name right, and I go, let me tell you what my name's like. Those of us with jacked up names, we got to stick together, right? And they go, right. I probably said that to you, didn't I? Yeah. The first time I met you, I was like, hey, we got jacked up names. People get them wrong all the time. Let's stick together. Something you got in common. Somebody's in the military. I was not in the military. I come from a military family. If I'm talking to somebody who's in the Navy or the Air Force, I'll reference my dad, who was in the Navy. If somebody is like more of a meat eater, like a Marine or Special Forces, Army kind of guy, I'm going to talk about my brother, who was an Airborne Ranger. Either way, you could say, I played with G.I. Joes when I was a kid. That's pretty cool. How realistic is that? Are you like Snake Eyes? Were you on Cobra? Okay. And the Gen Xers in the room are going, that was awesome. Next, you're going to identify the need. You're looking for what they need. So I like to ask people, tell me about you. Tell me a little bit of your background. Give me a little bit of your backstory, okay? And they start telling me, I'm listening to where they may have a need. Here's what I'm listening for. There's 5 needs that somebody coming on board here has. If they don't have any of these 5, they're probably not a fit. Number 1 is market. If they're licensed, they're looking for a market that, like, maybe they're Medicare agents and they're done with open enrollment and they're looking now for life insurance sales the rest of the year. I like the market that's year-round like that. If they're non-licensed, maybe they're a school teacher, and they like to know that, oh, you know what? Life insurance is a good thing. It's been around for like 400 years, and it's not a scam, and people need this. It's a good market we're in. Number 2, companies. Licensed people like to know that we represent over 40 different carriers. We'll probably get you started with the first one, like Mutual of Omaha. They like knowing those names. Non-licensed people don't know what a carrier is. They think that sounds like somebody that's carrying a disease. And so you say things like, we have insurance companies like Mutual of Omaha. They like to know the name brands we have at hand. Number 3 is leads. I mean, every licensed person that's answering an ad is looking for leads. 100% guarantee that. So they like to know that we got some connections with leads. Non-licensed people like to know they don't have to hit up their parents and their sister and their brother and do another Tupperware party burping dishes, okay? They like knowing that we can actually talk to people who are interested in buying. Number 4, support. Licensed person, I can't tell you how many times licensed people come on board with us and they say, if I had had this level of support where I was, I never would have left. Happens all the time. Non-licensed people like knowing that we're going to teach them how to do what we do. We're not just going to throw them to the wolves and see if they can figure it out. Opportunities for building, the money. Licensed people probably came from an opportunity where they were not allowed to build a team. They were not allowed to build an agency. They were supposed to sit in that office and work the phones and go make some sales. Non-licensed people like the idea of not being an insurance agent the rest of their life. They like the idea of building a business. Okay, those are the 5 needs. Once you find the need, you fill it. I've had people listen to me do interviews and they say, you didn't tell them everything. Well, my son is a freshman at Texas A&M in the Mays Business School, and over Christmas, I learned about a lot of things that I haven't taught him yet. He's not an idiot. That's a hard school to get into. And I'm not a bad parent. He got into a pretty good school. But when he got to college, he realized there was things he didn't know yet. So we got to discuss those things. I haven't told my 12-year-old daughter about the horrors of sex trafficking. Okay? I just tell her, don't go by yourself in the neighborhood just right now, okay? Have a friend with you. Why, Dad? I don't know if I want to tell you about all that just yet. I'm only going to talk about what they're interested in. Well, if you think that's great, let me tell you about the English Premier League. What? Well, I need to tell them everything. That's a sport. It's like a pretty popular one. No. Talk about what they're interested in and then close the deal. Fast track them. Book a meeting from a meeting. Get referrals. The way I'm not going to demonstrate an interview right now. I wish I could. Don't have time. This is a topic they gave you 40 minutes for. I could take a year and not cover everything. So I decided to give you my process. No. Question at the end. What? What, Rory? Huh? My interviews take me 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I'm closing the deal. And we're best friends. And my staff laughs because I get off the phone and I go, I like that guy. They're like, yeah, you say that every time. We're the ones that have to work with him. We all have our jobs. You chose yours. I chose mine. All right, so what I'm doing, the fast track, I am sending them instructions to fast track. I'm not actually walking them through that. Well, Fitz, I've had people that can't figure it out. Well, then electronic applications are going to be hell for that guy. Let the fast track process weed them out. It's okay. It's okay. They can't follow simple instructions for fast track, and I promise you, iPipeline is going to be their worst nightmare. Okay, so follow up properly. I'm going to go fast. Are they still waiting on us in there?
They switch at 9:12, so 9:17 is when Andy was on.
Okay. Follow up is where we lose people. This is maybe the most important part of the process. You can spend a ton of money on ads. You can spend a ton of time talking to people. But if you don't follow up properly, you lose them. And it's you, pal. You're the inefficient one in this process. So follow up properly. Get them scheduled into what I call the assembly line and on your team call. A lot of people focus on, I just recruited this guy 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go ahead and get him signed up for the spring conference. When was the last time you started a job and the first thing they did was spend $1,000 on a conference? That's weird. Don't be weird. What we do is already weird. Don't be weird, okay? But you're against getting people to conference? I didn't say that at all. A lot of people here are on my team. I think conference is a good thing. No, get them on the smallest thing to make them feel connected. Get them connected. Get them on a team call. What's the assembly line, Fitz? Think about it like an assembly line. Each stage, there's another part of the car being assembled. I'm getting them on that assembly line. Next step is contracting. Then we got to get them trained. Then we need leads in their hands. Then we get them making dials, and we work with them on their phone script. But get them on that assembly line. Have a process of getting them started. Bam fam, book a meeting from a meeting. I don't get off the phone with an agent without booking the next time that we're talking to them, or at least confirming it. Whenever you talk with a new agent, make sure of where they are in the process. If they're falling through the cracks, help them get back on the right track. Anytime, hey man, I noticed you didn't get the leads yet. Have you not gotten leads yet? Let's get you some leads, get you making dials. Can I help you build an override income? I love asking that question. Anytime I'm talking to them, hey, we didn't get you started on that override thing yet, did we? You remember how it works? You want me to help you with that? Always asking. What if they say no? Most times they do. I don't care. I ask anyway. If they want the override income, help them get on these 4 basics, walk them through the process. Get their list of names. Listen, a recruit isn't a recruit until he has a recruit. A mentor of mine told me that 25 years ago. He's an integrity partner today, not Andy. That's not who told me that. It's another partner. Still a mentor. Recruit isn't a recruit until he has a recruit. That's the 4 basics again. There's my contact information. All right. I hope that helped. Listen, that's my contact information. You send me a message. We want to ask questions, whatever. I don't care. I'll answer your questions. Now, I may not drop everything to answer your question immediately when you send it, so don't be pissed off, but I'll get to it. But look, we now have to get back in there because Andy's going to share some stuff with us that you don't want to miss. So don't dawdle. No loitering. As we say in Texas, move your ass.